Maybe after watching the tape, I guess everything with you guys starts on the defensive end. Why was Marc Gasol even more effective last night against Joel Embiid than maybe he has been in the past? I think Joel didn't throw only one shot in this one.
Well, he did a good job. Obviously, I think we've got some things that we like to do prior to a guy like Embiid getting the ball. Mark does those well, and so do the other guys, right? So there's a lot of little things that are going on out there before Embiid gets it, and then after he gets it, we try to provide a little less space maybe than he would like to have. So I think again a lot of credit to Mark, and I think still Serge goes out there and changes the look and fights him pretty hard as well, and is quick, and that's two tough guys to deal with, but the team defense is still kind of what it's all about.
Nick, in your years on the staff with Casey and last summer's head coach, you've seen the work Pascal puts in summers. Can you walk us through the evolution and what kind of work they talk about that he gets in those summer months?
Well, I think the first one, Doug, you always have to talk about is the work he did on his shooting, right? Again, I get my years mixed up here a little bit, but I think it was the day after the Washington series. That literally the next day, kind of him coming in and saying, "Listen, I need to learn how to shoot," and we literally, walked him down to square one and 3 feet from the basket, and tried to explain the process. It's not easy for anybody to change, their mechanics, their form, or whatever, and teach him the process of why it was important, and those. Anyway, he just took that as wholeheartedly as he could take it at that stage, right? This requires X amount of shots from 3 feet, which is a lot, and then from 8 feet, and then from 12. This is a gradual buildup of trying to change your they call it muscle memory, right? And so that was where it started, and he just did that like doubly every day, for that whole next summer. So you knew that there was a guy that was deeply hungry to become as good as he could become. And then I just think it, just started translating to other things, and then I think that last year's second unit, raised his confidence, and we gave him a lot of consistent minutes, and we, gave him some freedom to do a lot of things. And we were kind of waiting on the shooting to hit. You recall me several times this year, early in the year, talking about, listen, this guy can shoot, man. His mechanics are good, and he's putting in the work, and he makes them like crazy. It's gonna happen. So it was nice to see that come good for him, even though it was like 2 years later, probably, right? But still, that's kind of the process. And I guess the rest of it again, Doug, is just continuing to tweak other opportunities. Like I think he started working on his composure, his patience, his angles around the basket. He was always really good around the basket, kind of crafty. That's kind of what he came out of college as, an around the basket, move it around, finish it with your athleticism guy. But he started really working on his footwork and his angles and that stuff. So a really long answer, but there you go. There's some of it. Okay.
Fred and Kyle were just talking about stuff he's showing now that are counters to the way teams defend him. The stuff he works on all during the season and saves for this kind of moment. Is that?
Well, I think, Doug, I think you have your kind of sweet spots and your go-to moves, and as long as you're getting to those, you're going to keep using them. Right, and I think that as those get taken away, you realize, hey, teams are starting to do this to me. I better work on a counter move to that, and then you just kind of got to introduce them as the case or need be, right? So I think you're right. You start thinking, oh, geez, this team's doing this to me on this play or this move or whatever, so I better get something to go the other way. And I think, he's getting a lot of touches and a lot of opportunities, so he's getting a lot of practice on some of that stuff too.
How tough is it guarding Renick? Because he can get it off so quickly.
Yeah.
Guys are up on him, but he runs all the time off screen.
Yeah.
How much of a concern, especially when he did in the third?
Yeah, I mean, it's a concern. I mean, listen, it's first of all, it's really tough, like for a number of reasons. One is he's a great shooter. Two, like you mentioned, he's moving the whole possession, so it's like you can't ever relax, and you always got to be aware. Starts in transition because they'll find him a lot in transition, but he's also really physically strong, right? Like you get on him and he'll give you a shot one direction and be gone the other direction, right? And that's he created a few separations on those yesterday, and that's part of what a lot of the great shooters in this league do. Klay Thompson's the same. He'll give you a physical shot because his upper body's so strong, and then he'll be gone the other way and create just that much separation, and that's all they need. Yeah, we had to make some adjustments on him last night and get up with some other people and provide some help, and it's a problem.
It was Philadelphia's offensive rebounding troubling for you last night, or some of that red balls bouncing?
Well, I think it was troubling. You're right. I think 10 in the first half is probably double what you probably want to give up, right? But they're very big. I gotta look on the bright side. If there's a lot of offensive rebounds, there must be a lot of missed shots a lot of times too. But I thought we did an overall job, a pretty good job of blocking out. I thought we leaked out a little bit on the perimeter, which we can't do, right? We've got to get as many hands and feet in the paint and around the elbows and et cetera to track those down, but it's certainly a concern.
Yeah, can you address the job that Danny Green and Pascal did on Jimmy Butler last night? It seemed like they were the two guys tasked with eliminating him primarily. It never seemed to really get into a rhythm the way that Jimmy can't do.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they were good. They were again, physical with him. I think, again, trying to prevent any easy movement, any easy handoffs, any easy screen and rolls that we could, kind of keep his momentum flowing one direction. Did a good job of not sending him to the line too much. I know we fouled him on a 3 there late in the corner. He's really good at drawing fouls. They did a good job, but I really think that was probably a little bit more a product of our team defense. I think that again, space is so critical for good offensive players, and I just don't. After watching the film, I thought we did a good job of not letting it look like there was a lot of one-on-one opportunities for him.
What kind of a luxury is it you're talking about, Pascal, having a player that will coach you during the postseason and say, I want to get better now?
Well, this guy he's trying to get better all the time, and I think that's been the key. I think I mentioned that last night in my third quarter interview. They asked me about Pascal. He's got 29 already, and I just said, well, he seems to be getting better every week, and I think that's part of his makeup. He's probably out there right now, or he was at some point today, trying to figure out a way to get a little bit better than he was yesterday, and that's a credit to him.
Nick, these 6 games are really the first time you've had the same starters game after game after game all season. Was it tough?
It's making me uncomfortable.
Was it tough to wait until now to be able to just roll with this group, or did you have to trust that it would be like this?
Well, I think I don't know. It's not like it wasn't much I could do about it, right? I mean, all the things we were doing were planning for this time of year. First of all, some of the injuries you can't really help, right? And I always just tried to, again, remain positive about, okay, this guy's out, but this gives another guy or two an opportunity, and let's see what it looks like this way. It may be something we need to, you know, there may be a lineup back 2 months ago that we may be playing here in the future, and we ought to have some confidence that we can, you know, maybe not click at all cylinders, but click at a pretty good clip anyway.
How is that kind of connectivity and knowing what you want to run in different situations? How's that coming along with these guys?
Well, I think it's a really key factor of how we're playing. I think first of all, defensively, there seems to be a lot of connectivity out there. You know, and again, I keep saying that when Kawhi and Kyle are playing as hard as they can play, everybody that steps on the floor probably better play hard too. But I think there's a lot of we're applying a lot of pressure, and sometimes that pressure they'll release some things, or they'll run a pressure release play, but there's other guys there to cover it up, and then there's another cover up and things like that, and that's what team defense is, and that's what we're striving for. We'd like to be a up in your face team, and understand that these guys are good, and they're going to find other ways to try to get or to relieve pressure, but then that relies on the rest of your defense. And offensively, again, I think it's I think there's a lot of good combinations there, and those guys, we continue to grow those packages, because they are spending more time together, and they're figuring out you know, different guys to do different things in similar looks, but they're not exactly the same, if that makes any sense.
Does it help that you have so many smart guys, right? Like so many guys with basketball IQ, like pretty much all the way through your starting lineup?
Yeah, that helps a lot. It does. They are a very, very experienced, very intelligent group.
Where do you see that, like in game to game, like extra level IQ?
Well, I think you know, you see it not only game to game, but you see it on days like today. You know, the film session is very well, it's meant to be an improvement time, and it's not us just telling them, right? It's them telling us and us working together, and there's a lot of good ideas, and our coaching staff's ears are open, right? There's an exchange of ideas, because these guys have been through hundreds of games and lots of playoff runs and all those kind of things, so it's a real benefit.
Coach, yesterday Brett Brown was basically glowing, talking about the versatility you guys have on defense and all the weapons you have. As someone who's been around for a long time, I mean, do you sense how rare this group is here defensively?
I hope we can get to rare, right? I think we got the possibility to. I think there's some want to, right? I think with, again, I keep saying, well, we're going to find out if we're here to play tonight, if our defense is out and up in them, and they're starting to get up in them. I think there's always areas to polish and more effort areas. Again, I think a lot of defenses desire an effort, but I think this is a group that wants to, and I still think there's some room to grow there.